The year is 900 CE. Central Mexico lies under a vast, watchful sky. The air is thin and crisp in the high valleys, filled with the scent of pine and distant wood smoke. Great pyramids, monuments to gods and forgotten kings, dot the landscape like ancient mountains. These are the lands where giants once walked. The magnificent city of Teotihuacan, the city of the gods, now lies in a slumbering ruin, its wide avenues silent, its temples slowly being reclaimed by nature. But the spirit of this place, a powerful, creative, and sometimes brutal energy, has not vanished. It waits, like a dormant seed, ready for the next great civilization to take root and flourish in its shadow. Out of this power vacuum, a new people are stirring. They are migrants, warriors, and artisans, carrying with them stories of a legendary homeland. They call themselves the Toltecs, a name that will one day mean master builders or artisans. They needed a capital, a heart for their growing empire. They found it at a place they called Tolentzicocotitlán, known to us today simply as Tula. This was no ordinary location. It was a strategic choice, a defensible ridge overlooking the Tula River, commanding the surrounding valleys and trade routes. Here they would build their city, a marvel of engineering and a testament to their ambition. Tula was to be a reflection of their cosmos, a sacred center where the human world and the divine world could meet. At the city's heart stood Pyramid B, the temple of the morning star. This was the spiritual and political core of the empire, a stage for the most sacred rituals and pronouncements. The Toltec state was built on a foundation of military might. Their power and influence were projected through the strength of their armies, which were among the most disciplined and feared in ancient Mexico. The most iconic symbols of this warrior culture are the incredible Atlantean figures. These are colossal statues, each over 4.5 meters tall, that once supported the roof of the temple atop Pyramid B. They are representations of elite Toltec warriors in their full ceremonial battle dress. Each figure stands rigid and imposing, a human pillar of strength. They carry a spear thrower, known as an atlatl, in one hand and a supply of darts in the other. Beyond these giants, the art of Tula is filled with military themes. Friezes and relief carvings depict long processions of warriors, armed with clubs and shields. They show jaguars and coyotes, powerful predators representing the elite warrior orders of the Toltec army. At the very heart of Toltec religion and mythology stands one of Mesoamerica's most enduring and fascinating figures, Quetzalcoatl, the Feathered Serpent. This powerful deity, a blend of a beautiful quetzal bird and a rattlesnake, represented the duality of nature itself. The story of Quetzalcoatl is also intertwined with a legendary Toltec ruler named Ci'acatl Topiltzin Quetzalcoatl. The histories, which blend myth and fact, tell of this priest-king who ruled Tula during its golden age. This benevolent rule brought him into direct conflict with the followers of another powerful deity, Tezcatlipoca, the Smoking Mirror, a god of war, night, and sorcery who demanded blood sacrifice. This conflict between the two gods forms the central drama of the Toltec saga. Shamed and defeated, Topiltzin Quetzalcoatl was forced to abandon his beloved city of Tula. He journeyed east, towards the Gulf of Mexico, where he set sail on a raft of serpents, promising to one day return. This promise of return would have enormous consequences for the future of Mexico. Imagine waking with the sun in a residential compound just beyond the ceremonial heart of Tula. The air is cool and smells of wood smoke and damp earth. For an ordinary Toltec family, the day begins early. The women rise first, moving quietly in the pre-dawn light to the hearth. Their most important task is grinding maize, which has been soaked in lime water overnight. The rhythmic scraping sound of the mano against the metate, the stone grinder, is the heartbeat of the household. As the city awakens, the men and older boys prepare for their day's work. Many are farmers who will walk out to the fields surrounding Tula, cultivating the essential crops of maize, beans, and squash. Other men are skilled craftspeople, potters, weavers, and obsidian workers. As evening approaches, the family gathers back at their compound. The final meal of the day is eaten as the sky turns a fiery orange over the high desert. It is a time for storytelling, for reinforcing family bonds, and for honoring the household gods at a small personal altar. The Great Market, or Tianquistli, was the bustling, vibrant heart of the Toltec economy. Located near the main ceremonial plaza in Tula, it was a sprawling, open-air affair, a kaleidoscope of colors, sounds, and smells. Walk through the crowded aisles, and your senses would be overwhelmed. In one section, you would find farmers selling the bounty of their fields. Pyramids of colorful maize, heaps of shiny beans, green and red chili peppers, and plump squashes. From distant lands came the most prized goods: the iridescent green feathers of the quetzal bird from the cloud forests of Guatemala, brilliant turquoise from the far north, and cacao beans, used both as a luxury drink and a form of currency. This was more than just a place of commerce. The market was a critical social institution, where information flowed as freely as goods, where political rumors were spread, and where social hierarchies were reinforced. For the people of Tula, a trip to the market was a vital part of life. In the Toltec world, the line between the warrior and the priest was often blurred. War was a sacred act, and worship often had a martial, demanding tone. The cosmos was a precarious place, a battlefield between light and darkness, and humanity had a critical role to play in maintaining its balance. A key element of Toltec worship was the sacred ball game, or Olamalistli. Tula had at least 2 large eye-shaped ball courts, where this intense and symbolic game was played. It was far more than a sport. The game was a ritual reenactment of cosmic battles. The stakes were incredibly high. Carvings associated with the ball courts suggest that the losing team, and perhaps even the victors, were sometimes sacrificed to the gods. The warrior who died in battle and the captive who died on the sacrificial stone were both seen as fulfilling a sacred duty. This ideology was a powerful tool for the state, justifying imperial expansion as a holy quest for captives and tribute. The whispers of war and the chants of worship were 2 sides of the same coin, the driving forces that built the Toltec Empire and defined its formidable character. For over 2 centuries, Tula stood as the unchallenged center of power in central Mexico. But no empire lasts forever. Sometime around the middle of the 12th century, the great city began to falter. The decline of the Toltecs is a story shrouded in mystery. Internal strife seems to have been a major factor. The legends speak of an epic struggle between the factions loyal to Topiltzin Quetzalcoatl and the followers of Tezcatlipoca. This story of civil war likely reflects a real political schism within the Toltec elite. The climate in central Mexico appears to have shifted, with prolonged periods of drought putting immense strain on the agricultural systems that fed the city's large population. Famine would have led to social unrest and eroded the people's faith in their rulers and priests. The end, when it came, was violent. Archaeological evidence shows that the ceremonial heart of the city was deliberately burned and destroyed around 1168 CE. The grand halls were set ablaze, and the iconic Atlantean warrior statues were toppled from their pyramid and ritually buried. The city of Tula was left to crumble into ruin, but the fall of the city was not the end of the Toltec story. The dispersed Toltecs became advisors to new city-states, and their bloodlines were sought after by up-and-coming dynasties. They were transformed into a revered and idealized ancestry. The greatest heirs to the Toltec legacy were the Aztecs, who looked back on the Toltec era as a golden age of perfection. They revered the Toltecs as giants of civilization, the creators of all art and science. The Aztec Empire was, in many respects, a conscious effort to rebuild and surpass the lost glory of Tula. This legacy echoed far beyond the Aztec world. The distinct artistic and architectural style of the Toltecs can be found hundreds of miles away at the great Maya city of Chichen Itza in the Yucatan Peninsula, creating a shared Mesoamerican identity. Today, the stones of Tula continue to speak to us. The colossal Atlantean warriors stand as silent witnesses to a lost empire, their stern gazes a reminder of the military might that once dominated this land. The legacy of the Toltecs is woven into the fabric of Mexican identity, and their empire, though lost to time, never truly died. Its echoes resonate still.